Hello and welcome to TVC News at 7, and we begin with updates from River State, where the police have confirmed the explosion at the River State secretariat of the All Progressives Congress in Port Harcourt. But despite the incident, hours to start of the local government elections, protests in some parts of the state and some persons still showed up to vote. Our correspondent Uche Okuru has more on this.
It was not a surprise to many persons waking up on election day to news of an attack. Yet again, the APC is a victim of the controversial build-up to the council poll. The police say the assailants deployed improvised explosive devices here and at the Obiakpo Council Secretariat.
Go around and see the level of the devastation that happened here. Now, what is the question I'll ask? What is the relationship between APC state office and the election they say they're holding, illegal election?
As the day progressed, attention shifted to some polling units in Port Harcourt, Obiakpo local government, and other areas where voting was taking place.
We believe that the election will be very peaceful across the 219 wards in River State, and the winners will be announced by the grace of God. So ODSEC has not done any error.
As voting continued, leaders and supporters of the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress were protesting, repeating their demand for the suspension of the election.
If there is no PDP in River State, is there any election? No! No PDP! No PDP! No election is taking place. We want to assure you that for us, in the People's Democratic Party, and indeed members of opposition who will continue to be law-abiding.
As opposition to the election gains momentum, one of the main contenders say it was a good day.
We have noticed for the very first time, and I think that all politicians should take note of it. It's something that gives us credit, that we could be matured enough, civilized enough, cultured enough to do our elections without the presence of police. And the other person again I need to thank for providing an enabling environment is the governor, even though his party was not in the ballot box, but at least he's still going extra mile as a leader, a true leader that he is, to provide a level playing field for all those parties who are contesting the election.
Despite the few incidents of violence in some areas, participating political parties say the election was largely peaceful across the state. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
Well, let's bring in our senior correspondent, Uche Okoro, for more on this developing story. Uche, so much that has happened right now in River State, from the explosions down to the protests and, of course, the elections held in some local government areas. Talk to us on how things are looking right now, even as we await the announcement of some certain councils in the state.
Right now, things are looking calm. Everywhere is calm, Esther. As you can see behind me, you can see an overview of the city of Port Harcourt. Shows that life is gradually returning to normal in the city. I say that because, you know, there was a restriction of movement was announced by the governor, and residents of the state largely complied with that restriction order. They stayed indoors, but you know, the election is over now, and life is gradually returning to the city. The ninth life, as we know it, is gradually returning to the city this Saturday night. One thing that really stood out for me throughout the course of my election coverage today is the fact that residents stayed back to comply with the restriction order. But even if they didn't, even if residents had come out to go about their normal activities as requested, directed, or suggested by the People's Democratic Party and the faction of the All Progressives Congress, even if they had flouted the restriction order, there were no security personnel on ground to enforce. As you know, the police said they were going to stay away from the poll. So throughout today, there were no security personnel at all on election duty. I did not sight any checkpoints at all. I didn't even see any police van on patrol or any security personnel on patrol, soldiers, civil defense personnel at all. But by and large, it was generally peaceful by the assessment of a number of persons who participated in the election.
I also understand you spoke with the APP chairman and he commended the whole process of the elections. What about other party leaders? Are they satisfied with the conduct of the local government elections? What are you hearing?
Esther, yes, across board, many of these political party leaders have given kudos to the poll. As you know, an arm of the All Progressives Congress once gave flags to candidates to participate in this election. So as far as they are concerned as well, the election is, they've given thumbs up to the process. The exercise was smooth, was peaceful, was credible, and they expect any moment from now for results to begin to trickle in. So yeah, there is a general sense of acceptance that it's a good day at the office for participating political parties. There's been no ordinarily, if it were the general election or under different circumstances, by now I'm sure you'd have heard about one or two press conferences held in different parts of the city, or people already calling the election a sham, or for people calling for it to be cancelled. But so far, all those who participated, we haven't heard any dissenting voice. They all seem to agree that what happened today reflects the will of the people. They all seem to agree that even though turnout wasn't as expected, they didn't get the turnout that they expected as a result of the controversies and the uncertainties that trailed the polls over the last few weeks and last few months. They said despite that, they're still quite satisfied that if a few persons came out, there's a sense of satisfaction that the number of residents still came out to cast their vote. So right now, we haven't heard any dissenting voices, apart from those who have been on the streets today calling for the election to be suspended. Those who participated so far seem to be speaking in one voice that they are happy. Esther?
So well, let's leave it at that. Thank you so much, our correspondent, live for us from Port Harcourt, the state capital, Uchukwu. Appreciate the updates there.